really cold. The temperature just kept dropping because it wasn't going above zero, and whatever heat that the house had retained was gone.
We have crews out working to safely restore the powers.
It's just, I just can't believe somebody couldn't have prepared for this.
Parts of central Texas got even more snow today, adding to the constant worry and frustration from people still without power or water.
But we have a light at the end of the tunnel, and I know we've got a long way to go. But with temperatures warming up ever so slightly today, tomorrow, into the weekend, we're going to see more of this. This is a live look right now. This is what we've come to, a live look at ice melting, which is the good news for a lot of people in and around Austin today.
We like enjoying that scene for sure tonight.
Watch that for a while.
I know, right? Tonight on KVUE News at 5, we have continued team coverage on this winter weather crisis.
Let's begin with Chief Meteorologist Erica Lopez. Erica, the end of the cold snap is in sight.
It is. Yep. Well, we continue to trend warmer and warmer. We still have a couple of hard nights to get through before we can finally say we're done with freezing temperatures for at least a whole 24-hour period. Now, here's a look at what I'm tracking tonight. Even though we are hovering the freezing mark this afternoon, some sunshine's able to pop out. That's going to help melt this ice and the snow that's still left on the ground. We have another hard freeze warning that's in effect tonight. This is going to be in effect until 10 a.m. where lows will be in the teens and 20s. So that means anything that's melting likely just going to refreeze as we head to the overnight hours and cause the slippery roads to still be a major issue. So 15 degrees out in Mason. I think we'll drop to 17 for Austin and low 20s out in our eastern counties. On top of that, we remain under a winter storm warning and winter weather advisory. This is only in effect for another hour or so as we've been tracking still more snow flurries pushing through our viewing area. But if you take a look at the time lapse of the last 3 hours, a lot of that's starting to taper off. Want to zoom out and show you to our neighbors out in the Del Rio area. They had record snowfall today. They were the spot that picked up 9.7 inches of snow. Aren't we happy that we didn't have to deal with the snowfall like that anymore? So again, snow showers tapering off. It's still cold tonight. Take a look at that warming trend. It's going to be fabulous. So again, 2 more nights where we will drop to below freezing. The afternoons will include plenty of sunshine and much warmer conditions. By the time you wake up Sunday morning, we're done with freezing temperatures, and I don't see them in the 7-day forecast after that.
Wow, all that snow. Feels like the worst Groundhog Day ever, doesn't it, sometimes? Some good news tonight. More people in Austin do have power again, but they may not keep it. Senior reporter Tony Plahetsky joins us live with the latest on the power outages. Tony?
Terry, some promising news. More people have power in the city of Austin right now than they have had in 4 days. Only 10% of Austin Energy customers are still in the dark, but I do want to tell you that translates to about 42,000 customers. Officials say they hope that they are able to maintain that power and do not receive additional instructions from ERCOT to flip those switches back off. They are hopeful, though, going forward. The situation with the water, though, is less resolved right now, with Austin water officials saying that tens of thousands of people are either without water completely or have low water pressure. They are still asking people to conserve their water right now and say that their primary focus is getting full water pressure and water at all, in some cases, back to hospitals, many of which are having issues across the city. It's unclear also how long that citywide boil water notice could stay in place, so do remember to continue to bring your water to a boiling royal. With regard to roads, public officials say they have cleared or plowed hundreds of miles of critical city streets, making them passable to emergency vehicles in the event that people do need to get moved from their houses to a warming center or other facility. But still keep in mind some of those roads are treacherous as the ice and snow does continue to melt. While the crisis does appear subsiding, officials once again, though, said today that it is unclear when everything will be totally back to normal. Terry, Bryan.
A lot of folks feeling that tonight. Tony Plahetsky joining us live. Thanks, Tony. Today, Governor Greg Abbott spoke about the winter conditions in Texas, voicing his frustrations with ERCOT.
We have already begun the process to make sure that events like this never again happen in Texas. And that starts with reforming the agency in charge of electric reliability in Texas, which is ERCOT. What happened this week to our fellow Texans is absolutely unacceptable and can never be replicated again.
The governor says he's adding emergency items to the legislative session. First, he's calling for the winterization of generators and the power system. He's also calling for funding needed to ensure that winterization and modernization happens.
All three of the major healthcare systems right here in our area have been affected by this winter storm. Today, Baylor Scott and White saying its emergency medical center in Cedar Park is temporarily closed because of a winter weather-related water leak. Baylor Scott and White says they've been experiencing water outages, says the backup power. The sources have been used at several different facilities thus far. Now, this comes after a nurse at St. David's told KVUE that the water was out at the South Austin Medical Center. 30 patients transported to other facilities out of caution. Today, a spokesperson for St. David's said that the hospital is no longer experiencing heating issues, so that's good. They say it's working with the city to resolve the water problems. Ascension Seton also told KVUE Wednesday that they're dealing with water problems at several locations.
While some families are feeling the warmth of heat in their homes for the first time in days, others are facing a fourth night in the cold. Patience is wearing thin, and so we wanted to hear from some of them in their own words.
So we were out from 5 a.m. Monday until around 3 a.m. last night. It was unbearable. I mean, it's not like even the first night when it was 9 degrees and we had blankets and hats and gloves on in bed, that the house had retained enough heat that we were able to get by. Tuesday night was just frigid. I just could not sleep. I kept waking up in the middle of the night. When we lost power, we could see that everybody else in the neighborhood looked dark. But then I looked downtown, we could see all the buildings were all lit up and pretty much stayed on the entire time. So even just the decorative lights at the top of hotels, there's some buildings under construction that obviously nobody's been working in during this, freezing spell, but they were lit up on every floor. The cranes were lit up, and that's just what's been the kicker, because I know that they need to keep energy running to the hospital and everybody who's on the same grid. But I think what a lot of people just have a hard time understanding is, why can't you shut down the empty office buildings? Why can't you shut down these construction sites that nobody's at right now, to try to help the grid recover and get power to the people who were out without it for days on end?
We're just trying to do everything we can to stay warm. We don't have a wood-burning fireplace, but we had a fire pit outside. But I've basically given all my wood away to my neighbors that did have fireplaces to help them. And I had some extra propane that I was able to share also. It's hard trying to keep everybody's spirit up, but we've stuck together. When you depend on people to keep your home safe during a storm like this, it's just hard not to get upset.
The desperation is real, especially for that family, because they still don't have power tonight.
And that's the thing we have to focus on right now. Yes, Austin Energy's done a good job. There's still a lot of people, though, without power there. In Taylor, Round Rock, Pflugerville, Hutto, Georgetown, Hayes County, there's still a lot of people in this area without power. We're not done yet, but we're getting closer to where we need to be. Remember those people tonight that still don't have power.
Time now to get updated on the latest information that we want to remind you that you can get right there on our app.
That's right. The weather conditions, power outages, all there on the app. If you know anyone who doesn't have access perhaps to the internet or the app because of power or internet issues, share the information if you can that we're putting out there. It could help save lives. The KVUE app, free to download in the App Store and on Google Play.
Still to come here on KVUE News at 5, the weather delaying COVID-19 vaccinations when they're expected to resume.
And Senator Ted Cruz back home after flying to Cancun for the night while the rest of the state faced this crisis. We'll have more on his trip straight ahead.
And tonight's the night that we're saying goodbye to the winter weather and hello to sunshine by tomorrow. Along with that, a warming trend. I'll talk about the gradual warming trend and exactly when I think most of the ice and snow will thaw out, coming up in the full forecast.
Vaccination sites are closed through Friday because of the winter weather. APH says it doesn't know when it will be able to give vaccinations again, but officials will eventually reach out to people to reschedule those appointments. APH had to cancel more than 2,000 of those last week. A reminder, you can get your second shot between 28 and 42 days after the first shot. The CDC told KVUE severe winter weather is causing national delays in vaccine shipments and deliveries, specifically shipments out of the FedEx in Memphis, Tennessee, and the USPS facility in Louisville, Kentucky. Those places are vaccine shipping hubs for multiple states. The CDC says it is monitoring weather conditions and trying to mitigate potential delivery delays and cancellations.
With water being out for thousands of folks and thousands still in the dark in Texas, U.S. Senator Ted Cruz flew to Mexico with his family. He landed back in Texas this afternoon, the senator receiving criticism for the trip, you might imagine. In a statement before coming back home, Senator Cruz said in part, quote, "With school canceled for the week, our girls asked to take a trip with friends. Wanting to be a good dad, I flew down with them last night and am flying back this afternoon," end quote. This afternoon being today. He's now back. He says he and his staff were in constant communication while he was on vacation. Austin Water saying they don't know when the water will be fully restored in Austin, even though their main treatment plant is back up and running tonight. Before testing the water, Austin Water has to restore water pressure to the system. They also have to look for leaks in the system, which they say will take time.
If we simply try to turn the system back on everywhere and don't check for leaks and do this in a methodical way, we'll simply repeat what happened the other night where all the water drains out of our system. Once we stabilize the system, can demonstrate that it has adequate pressure, we can begin the process of sampling the water, testing it for bacteriological, and clearing those systems.
Austin Water saying bring your water to a rolling boil for at least 2 minutes before using it to drink or brush your teeth or cook. If you do have running water, you're asked to conserve as much as possible.
Chief Meteorologist Erica Lopez joins us now. Did you get your power back on, Erica?
Yes, it's still rolling. My husband's been at home taking care of it. So, yeah, well, we've been here working. So, you know, rolling outages out there.
How's Blue doing? Is Blue making it?
You know, Blue is staying nice and cozy.
Yeah.
We gave her extra hay, extra blankets. She actually loved the snow.
I bet.
Yeah, but still pretty cold out there. But you know what? I have a positive aspect to this forecast. Take a look at these numbers. We reached 33 degrees at Austin Camp Mabry. That means we finally made it to above freezing. After 6 full days, we dropped to below freezing Friday afternoon, and it was just this evening where we were able to get above that freezing mark. So we officially have the longest record for at or below freezing temperatures. That breaks the record from the 1980s. 31 degrees out at the airport as well. They still remain below freezing though. Hard freeze warning in effect tonight. That's because even though we are gradually on a warming trend, it's still going to be brutally cold out there tonight. Low 20s, some teens out there for parts of the hill country. It's still going to be dangerously cold for 2 more nights, tonight, tomorrow night, and then we're above freezing for our overnight lows. So here's a look at your low temperatures. I think we'll drop to about 17 degrees here in Austin. Some low 20s for our eastern counties. As cold as 15 degrees for areas such as Mason, but I don't think we'll see any single digits. On top of that, we remain under a winter storm warning and a winter weather advisory for only about 30 more minutes, and then the National Weather Service likely to allow this to expire. They may keep a couple of counties still under an advisory as we still have some snow flurries, but most of it has tapered off. The only activity I'm really spotting at this time is out in Gillespie County. Higher accumulation totals have been south of us. Most of this snow has been light in nature, but I have seen pockets of reports of up to 3-4 inches, especially for areas south of Austin and the hill country. That's in the last 24 hours with this last round of snow for us here in central Texas. Take a look at Del Rio though. It's been snowing since last night. It continues to dump on them. They have had record-breaking snow, 9.7 inches. That surpasses their all-time record they've ever had. So lots of snow as we head just west of us. 3-day forecast. This is what we all want to see. A lot of sunshine, warmer temperatures. We're finally going to get to thaw out for Friday. Tomorrow, highs I think will be in the upper 30s. Plenty of sunshine. It's going to feel much warmer with the sun on our skin. And then by tomorrow afternoon, we're in the 50s. Notice every single day gets about 10 degrees warmer in the next 3 days. And then by Sunday morning, we say goodbye to freezing temperatures. And I don't see those freezing temperatures in the forecast as we head into next week. Speaking of next week, I do see a couple of weak fronts, but they're Pacific fronts. All they do is bring in about a 20% chance of rain, not until mid to late next week, and hardly drop in our temperatures. On average, we're going to be anywhere from the 50s to the 60s. So let me walk you through your 7-day forecast. Tomorrow is the coldest day we have on the 7-day forecast, and then it is all uphill from there. 23 degrees again by the time you wake up to Saturday morning. We may still have another hard freeze warning. There's those two fronts that I mentioned. Sunday night into Monday, that's where we may have a 10% chance of a spotty shower, but it still keeps us above freezing, I should say, for your overnight lows. And then another weak front Wednesday night into Thursday, about a 20% chance of rain. Is this not the best 7-day forecast that we have seen in a while? I think a lot of folks, we just need this. We really need this. It's been a long stretch of winter weather across Texas.
Now, if only we could just give everybody next week off. Wouldn't that be nice to enjoy
Yes,
it?
I hope our bosses are listening because I like this idea. It sounds great.
I'm starting a campaign. I'll write you a note for work. Let's see if it works. Still ahead, we are hearing from you, the voicemails you have left voicing your frustrations.
And Texans helping Texans who don't have water. The positive story we all need to hear right about now.
There's many elderly here. We've been basically trapped in since last Thursday a week, but we've been without electricity and water for 52 hours now. And I have only a few bars left on my cell phone to call for help.
We lost power Friday morning at 2 a.m., and we just got our power back about 30 minutes ago. It's been a long week.
Here is electricity all around us, and yet we have nothing.
It's just tough to hear them all, and we do hear you and all that you're going through. A few voicemails and video messages we received here at KVUE. The experiences people from all across Central Texas are dealing with, coping with power outages, and now this water crisis we're dealing with. We're getting a lot of those, and we are listening to every single one of them.
Yeah, imagine all the darkness facing some of those families for
Just
days.
tough.
We are also seeing a lot of uplifting stories of many of you helping those in need.
How about this? A group of local coaches got out and did what they could to lend a hand.
Sports Director Jeff Jones with their story.
On a Wednesday night, Georgetown ISD's Athletics Director Jason Dean had a great idea for helping communities still without water. So he filled up a 300-gallon tank and recruited a few friends.
He just put out there on Twitter, hey, if anybody needs any water, I have a way to deliver some water. And I just communicated back with him, man, I'd be glad to help you out.
You know, it's dark, so get a knock at the door. Who's at the door? Okay. Go downstairs, check the door, and, you know, there's a lady there that says, hey, do you guys need water? Of course we need water. Everybody needs water.
The wives went down the street knocking door to door, and we just drove the truck down the street, and people would bring out their pitchers or coolers or bowls or buckets.
What emotions were you and your neighbors feeling in that moment?
You know, it's just a very, very grateful feeling. Very thankful for those guys who just wanted to help. You know, I saw it on our neighbors' shivering faces, just the same.
Years from now, when you think back to last night, what are you going to remember?
You know, I think it's just the humanity of it, right? As a follower of Christ, what we're called to do is serve, and you know, that's part of what we're supposed to do. And to be able to do that and to see it on other people's faces when it's really a need is pretty awesome.
I exchanged a few messages with Coach Dean today, but was unable to set up a video call. The reason? Well, he spent the entire day on the road delivering more water.
Isn't that amazing?
I have no words for that generosity.
I think that's so cool.
Other than I hope his team goes undefeated and wins a state championship.
They deserve that.
I am now a fan of Coach Dean. I was before, but I'm an even bigger fan now. Way
That's
to
awesome.
go, Coach.
Yeah,
Good
send
job.
those stories to us too. If something like that happens in your neighborhood, let us know.
Please let us know. We'll be back right after this break. Stay with us.
Coming up on KV News at 6, we're continuing to cover the power and water crisis across Central Texas.
We'll have more team coverage and, of course, more important information as we get it. That's tonight on the news at 6.
Erica's back with us. Hopefully that wind is blowing pretty good out there right now.
Yep, a little gusty at times. It'll continue to be a north wind, eventually transition to a south wind, which will help us get those warmer temperatures. So we've all been waiting for a 7-day forecast like this for a good solid week. We still have 2 more dangerously cold nights ahead. Tonight, a hard freeze warning is in effect, and then tomorrow we're in the 20s. South winds return by Saturday. That's going to warm us up to the highs in the 60s, lows above freezing by the time you wake up on Sunday morning. Man, it's been long, it's been hard, but we're almost there, Austin.
Yeah, and I've got it, Erica, it's got to stay good tonight so I can get home and take a shower, because Terry has to wear a nose clipper in the newsroom when I walk past.
You're fine.
I was wondering what that smell was.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here at 6.